Welcome to Liana series of episodes. Armel is an expert in business strategy that we have the honor to host today. And over the years, he has specialized in environmental, social, and governance fields, as is aware that the private sector could no longer evolve without putting those aspects at the heart of their businesses. It focuses on rethinking the economic models to make them more fair and sustainable in Côte d'Ivoire and Sub-Saharan Africa. The Groupe Cofina is the Pan-African leader in Mesofinance, and Armel is currently working there at their service to ensure that finance has a sustainable impact in the development of inclusive finance in Africa. His key quote, make business work for impact and impact work for business. Armel, welcome.
Thank you. That's so great. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Liana. Thank you for this wonderful opportunity. It's a pleasure.
Okay, Armel, first, could you explain to a general audience what are ESG criteria?
Okay. Absolutely. ESG criteria is, as the name said, some criteria that we follow. And ESG stands for environmental, social, and governance. Is some aspect that we check in a business to be sure that this business is compliant with some standards about environmental and social issues, but also with transparency and good management. So ESG criteria is those criteria, essentially those standards which permit us to be sure that the company is compliant.
Do you have any specific examples of ESG criteria?
Yes, there are so many examples of ESG criteria. For example, the HR procedures uh, are included in the ESG criteria. When we address a given company to be sure that they are ESG compliant, given to the size of the company, that's so important. We can check the HR procedures to be sure that the human right, for example, is well applied in the company. We can check also the security procedures to be sure that employees are not exposed to an important risk. So through ESG, we can just access the risk about environmental aspect and social aspect, but also, as I said, transparency in the management and the good condition for the workers and the community around. So we can also check the grievance or the complaint mechanism that the company put in place to take in charge the complaint of the people around.
Okay. And how do you think that those criteria will shape business practices in Sub-Saharan Africa?
Okay, you know, in sub-Saharan Africa, we are a great issues with access to finance. So, we all know that finance is a crucial aspect for the development of a company. So today, to access those finance on the international market, we have venture capital or funds for foreign speaker or capital risk. There are so many people, so many structure giving access to finance. But today we are more and more aware about the importance of our impact that can be positive or negative impact on the society, on the environment. So both investors, both person I can say who give access to finance to the local companies today are considering essentially ESG criteria before giving access to the fund to the resources. So today, if our companies want to go on the international market and be recognized as a good business practitioner, as a practitioner we can at which we can give a lot of money, a lot of resources to develop their business, they have to consider ESG. And I can talk about ESG not in this on this aspect about access to finance, but ESG also give the possibility to the company to to catch opportunities because while assessing environmental and social aspect, we can identify some missing points in our environment that we can address with a specific product or a specific services. But also, I said where when we began that we have to consider, for example, HR policies. The human is those who do the business. Without human, there is no business. So while considering ESG, our local companies give give to to themselves the opportunity to be sure that they are taking good practices to make a good business, to make a business sustainable, not sustainable only in the way of we take care of the environment of the people, but sustainable in the way that we are viable, profitable to our shareholders and others. So it's very essential to be short. It's very essential to consider ESG to make the business work better. Yes.
So we can say that there is a double benefit. Like from one side, we have like the access to the financing
Yes.
market to comply
Yes.
with the new investors requirement, and on the
Yes.
other part to perform well within the company and
Absolutely.
identify
Absolutely.
some
Says opportunity on the market. Missed opportunities on the
okay an
market.
area of improvement, I guess.
Yes, for sure.
Okay, okay, crystal clear. So this is more or less for large companies. How do you address like smaller companies?
Yes, we can think like you when we talk about ESG. We can say it's a matter of big enterprise or large enterprise or blue chip companies and not the business of SMEs or very small enterprises. But is a matter of anybody on this earth. We all have an impact, and ESG is all of us, our business. So for SMEs, we can take in charge the ESG aspect because ESG don't come with a predefined rules, certainly predefined rules, but not apply it, and we go. We take time to analyze the side of the business, the sector of the business before going through the ESG standards or ESG aspect we can make the company involved with. So ESG applied to all type of enterprise. I can say excuse for the French. I can say also to the people considered individually is our engagement. We need to engage on ESG, not considering our size before.
And can you tell us more about like what is Mesofinance?
Yes, I'm working for an actor who is Groupe Cofina, is a great promoter of Mesofinance. Mesofinance is, to explain it, I can take a pyramid. If you consider a pyramid, you will, I can say that at the bottom of the pyramid, you will identify microfinance intermediaries. So with microfinance intermediaries, we have generally finance. We microfinance give access to finance, but not over than 2,000 euro, according to the international standards or analysis of the market. And you are in the traditional financing system at the top of this pyramid, the traditional bank where we are financing starting at 100,000, for example. And between microfinance and traditional bank in the traditional financing system, you have this missing middle between both 2,000 euro to 100,000 euro. So mesofinance is this branch of finance which address this gap between microfinance and traditional bank. So it's the missing middle between both, and it give opportunities to SMEs or what we can sometimes call big SMEs the opportunity to have access to a amount of financing more important than what the microfinance can offer, but under or over or at the same as bank can offer, but without considering the I want to say difficult aspect or difficult procedure that the bank asks the enterprise to be compliant before go to the financing.
Can you tell us why is it essential in the process of financing the SMEs?
You know, it's very important to take care to mesofinance or to promote mesofinance because this gap is so important, mainly in Africa, where we can notice that we have about 90% of our market, our local economy, constituted by SMEs. And these SMEs are struggling to have access to finance because when you give me just 2,000 euro today and I make my business raise for tomorrow, and today I need 10,000 euro, but you can because you are a micro operator, and the bank can give me access to finance because um, I'm not structured as they want. Is a very issue of say opportunity seizing in our environment. So through microfinance, we can give access to both SMEs or big SMEs if you want to have the financing they need and seize the opportunity in their environment. And microfinance become more important or more interesting when you pay attention to the gender. You know, gender today, women are so many in owners of our SMEs in the local market, but they have these people struggling the most before accessing to before having access to finance. So I think it's just 6% or to don't go with false statistic, but women are very struggling compared to men before before having access to finance. So microfinance come also with this point of view to say that we can better address the women, we can empower women to give them better access to finance. That is the most important things that microfinance can do for our local economies.
And could you explain a bit which are the opportunities for local businesses with microfinance?
Yes, the opportunities for local business are plenty. There are plenty opportunities for local business. You know, today, if a given company in the primary sector well integrate ESG aspect, the company in the same way are increasing its management aspect. There are better practices about the human, about the labor. There are better practices about the business processing, the product creation, the service, the serviction, and so many things like that. So by involving it, yes, the company are in the same way making great improvement of business management. So it's something very important that we have to pay attention to.
Okay. And yeah, what could be the challenges faced then?
Then the challenges faced can be a matter of culture, a culture of we are doing business as usual. It's just business, it's business, it's business, and seeing ESG as some criteria that come just to make the business more difficult as the market is already so tough to address. And ESG just come with a amount of problems or of things difficult to realize to implement. That is, I think, the first matter we can have with our local business. But the second aspect can be a question of a technical aspect, the question of we don't know how to do it. You tell me to have better HR procedures, but I'm just, for example, a small company. I'm struggling to make money. You ask me to 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 create a policy to better manage my people. It can be not only culture but also technical aspect and a problem of technical assistance. You ask me, but you are not there to show me the way and to give me the resources I need to reach that goal. And when we take this point of culture, we can add an interest. Is the interest of the business owner because we can do ESG without the top management involvement. If I am in my company as Groupe Cofina, I can't do ESG. I can put in place an environmental and social management system without the ownership of the top management. So the top management have to make an effort to understand the importance and the opportunity of ESG, and then propose all the system, all the company to ESG. So
But yeah.
to summarize, excuse me, to summarize myself, and there are a problem of culture, a problem of a technical aspect matter, and awareness, awareness that go with culture aspect, but also involvement of the top management.
Yeah, but if we focus more on the SMEs, because you tell us more about like what you are doing at Cofina,
Right?
but let's talk about like a smaller company. I own a business owner with less than 10 employees. It's a bit challenging to add those kind of ESG criteria aspects into
For
the
sure.
day-to-day business. So do you also
Yes.
have some kind of assistance for them? How do you materialize that?
Yes. Um, You know, when we talk about ESG, we have the habit to consider very important thing, very difficult things to do. It's just a day-to-day action. ESG is just how excuse me how we can think outside the box by considering environment and social. Taking the case of a small company with no more than 10 employees, ESG don't come with predefined standards. It is, yes, but it not come and just take you copy and paste. We take time to understand your business, to understand the opportunity, and then tell you what you have to do. And that is what the due diligence, the ESG due diligence process do. When we are with an investor who want to give us a giving capital, mainly for important amount or just for small amount, a international investor will certainly make a due diligence on so many aspects, but also on the environmental, social, and governance aspect. So the global ESG due diligence is, I want to say, the global goals or the most important goal of the ESG due diligence is to understand if the leadership aspect and the management and the practices are good about environmental and social aspect. So while doing this due deal, excuse me, for the contraction form, the contracted form, while dealing with the due deal, what we do is essentially to identify opportunities and lead. So if you are just a small company who no more than 10 employees, there's certainly something to do. We can
Mhm.
always do better than we are doing today. So we just come, analyze your business, analyze, but you have, just take the example again, two employees, and you are working on a as in industry field, there are so many risks, as you know. So you need some equipment to protect yourself. And because you think you are just the necessary to be the most safe while doing the job, that is the matter we want to address. without considering if you are a bigger one or a smaller one. So you just have to analyze the opportunity and then give recommendation about that.
Thank you, Armel. So we have a few minutes left. So to end, could you explain a bit how can our audience engage with an improvement in this field?
Yes, we can engage with an improvement in these fields all by doing our part. And if there is an actor I want to aware the most, to give awareness the most, is the financial intermediary. Today, any enterprise or capital is increasing on our market. So we can ask money to the international market directly without intermediaries, or we can go through local financial intermediaries to catch this money. So local financial intermediaries get a power, to aware, to tell to local business owner, you have to go in this way because all the world is not only because all the world is going through, but because it's important for you and it can give you so many opportunities to catch. Local financial intermediaries have the possibility to ask to the university to a loan requires to take with them what we call an ISAP. ISAP stands for Environmental Social Action Plan. So it's just a recommendation of action considering the size of the enterprise or of the company and the amount of financing needed to address the issue of ESG. So this can be a great starting point to change the habit, because if the daily business change, our daily habit will change also. So I want to ask to financial intermediaries or any person who are at the top management of a business in our countries to pay attention to ESG, because they are those we can change anything, they can change the game at all. I don't know
Okay,
if
so
it's clear
yes,
or
Yeah,
if you want
that's
some.
definitely an engagement. Okay, Armel, so thank you very much. We are closing now with you. Thank you for trying to engage our audience with an improvement in this field. Thank you for sharing your knowledge. It's
Thank you.
clear that ESG criteria is moving business around the world, especially in Sub-Saharan Africa. So
Yeah.
thank you for your contribution. I hope you found it. I hope you found it interesting, and see you soon.
Thank you.
thank you, Armel.